Hello and welcome to the Victorian Volunteering Awards 2026 information session. The awards are an opportunity to recognise and thank the volunteers across Victoria for the incredible contributions they make to our state and also to local communities. We can't wait to hear all of the different stories about volunteers and the organisations that they work for that give so generously and so selflessly to our state. I'm Katie White and I'm the events manager here at Volunteering Victoria. So firstly, I'd like to do an acknowledgement of country. Volunteering Victoria acknowledges the Boonwurrung, Boon Wurrung and the Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung peoples, the traditional custodians of the land on which our office stands, and we pay our respects to them, their culture and their elders past and present. I'd also like you to think about the land that you're calling in from today and just acknowledging the First Peoples who live on that land. So today's agenda, we're going to meet some previous winners. We'll do an overview of the awards and what they mean for Victoria. We'll look at the different awards categories. There are 8 different categories, some for individuals and some for organisations. We'll also look at how to submit a nomination and some tips for a strong nomination. Finally, we'll also go through how you ask questions of the team at Volunteering Victoria, and that will be done through an email to awards@volunteeringvictoria.org.au. So let's look at the awards overview. The awards are a program that we have at Volunteering Victoria to honour all the amazing volunteers we have across all sorts of different industries, all sorts of ages, and all of these people contribute to Victoria's resilience and communities, the services, the connections. It's amazing reading all the different stories that we get in at Volunteering Victoria about where people volunteer, the sorts of work they do, the connections they make. It's truly inspiring. So we're really looking at showcasing the excellence of individuals, the teams and volunteer involving organisations. And the awards are run by both Volunteering Victoria and the Victorian State Government. So the awards timeline, we open for nominations on the 17th of March 2026. They close on the 27th of May at 4 p.m. During June and August, that's when the assessment and selection of the nominees takes place. Then we announce the finalists in September and we have the awards ceremony in October later this year. So the awards categories, we have 8 different categories. You can see there's the individual categories being the volunteer leadership, volunteer impact, volunteer commitment, and the young volunteer, which the person has to be 25 years or younger. And in the organisation categories, we have the volunteering innovation, volunteering partnerships, inclusive volunteering, and the grassroots volunteering. So out of these categories, we also have the Volunteer of the Year, which is all the winners of the individual categories get put forward to the Premier each year, and the Premier selects the Volunteer of the Year, which Dame Elizabeth Murdoch put her name to many years ago. The organisation categories, they also have the Organisation of the Year chosen, and that's the Volunteering Excellence Award. So here we have a bit more about the Volunteer of the Year, the Dame Elizabeth Murdoch Award. So you can see the award that's given out. This was designed by Dame Elizabeth Murdoch's family. As I said, it's chosen by the Premier each year, and it recognises the extraordinary volunteering service, commitment and impact of a particular volunteer. This was last year's Organisation of the Year, the Volunteering Excellence Award, and it went to the Gig Workers Hub. So this particular award's, again, chosen by the Premier from all the organisation category winners and recognises an exceptional volunteer involving organisation that demonstrates overall excellence. Now we're getting into the 8 categories. So we're starting with a Volunteer Commitment Award. So we're looking for a dedicated and passionate individual with a substantial record of commitment. Nominees might be long-serving volunteers and reliable hard workers whose significant contribution and enthusiasm for volunteering is an inspiration to others. All of our individual awards, they're open to all ages, obviously except for the Youth Award. And anyone who volunteers throughout Victoria is eligible, and all sorts of volunteering. Here we go. This is the Young Volunteer Award. So we're really looking for people who are 25 years or younger. Last year's winner was Thomas Volk. Unfortunately, Thomas lost his dad to cancer, and so now he volunteers for kids with cancer. Even at 10, he raised $288,000. So this one celebrates enthusiasm, initiative and leadership of young people in volunteering. Nominees will be inspiring young people who have made a remarkable impact and contribution through volunteering. And I'm sure you've all got young people that you know of who would be great to nominate for this award. Here we have the Volunteer Leadership Award. Last year's winner was Mohammed Al-Abri. He has been recognised for his leadership in the LGBTIQA+ space. He's led 2 community sponsorship groups that have helped queer refugees settle in Australia, access housing and continue their education. So this one recognises people who have shown exceptional volunteer leadership and influence. Nominees will be inspiring individuals who built effective volunteer networks and partnerships, empowered others or engaged and strengthened community. The Volunteer Impact Award. This one celebrates people whose volunteering has made a remarkable difference. Nominees may be volunteer innovators and pioneers or dedicated hard workers whose contribution have helped to improve outcomes or supported important changes. So this one was Andrew Kopolov. Since 2022, he's given 4,000 hours to the Gig Workers Hub, which is remarkable. He's provided a safe place for many of the food delivery people to come and meet, but he's also built trust with the community and forged partnerships with government and service providers, just supporting food delivery workers. So we're looking at group awards or organisation awards now. So this one's the Inclusive Volunteering Award, and this was won by the STEM Sisters. The STEM Sisters support science, technology, engineering and mathematics by empowering women of colour through inclusive volunteer-led programs. So this one celebrates diversity and inclusion in volunteer programs. Nominees will have demonstrated inclusive and accessible volunteering practices that increase volunteer diversity or improve participation for a greater range of community members. The Volunteering Partnerships Award. This one pays tribute to the importance of collaboration and partnerships to achieve positive outcomes. Nominees will have made a significant difference through establishing or maintaining effective and enduring partnerships with other organisations, businesses or local community. So this one again was the Gig Workers Hub. This is the Volunteering Innovation Award. This one was won by What Were You Wearing Australia. So What Were You Wearing they're a volunteer-led charity dedicated to ending domestic, family and sexual violence. This one recognises the role of innovation and adaptation to continually improve the volunteer experience or enhance support. Nominees may have delivered positive outcomes through a unique volunteering program or new practices or operating models to improve the work of their organisation. And this one's the Grassroots Volunteering Award. So this was a sisterhood project. The Sisterhood Project deliver free baby and child first aid courses across Victoria, prioritising rural, regional and underserviced communities. This one celebrates the commitment, impact and importance of grassroots organisations. What do we mean by grassroots? So these are organisations that earn less than $75,000 a year and are community led, like they're voluntary led. So this one will be nominees will be small community led organisations that may have provided important local services, led positive change, or supported social and community life. So in this nomination, we actually get someone with financial delegation at your organisation to write in a quick note saying that your organisation earns less than $75,000 a year. Okay, now we come to information required to nominate. So firstly, we ask that you let your nominee know that you're going to be nominating them for an award in Volunteering Victoria's Awards 2026. So we also ask that you put down your nominee's contact details just so we can get in contact with them. There'll be 4 questions that you need to answer, both for an individual and also for the organisation. And for organisation categories, we get you to do a letter of support. This can be from a CEO or a volunteer or someone that you partner with. And then you're also invited to attach 3 different attachments. There could be like a media article or maybe, your annual report or a few photos, whatever you feel lends weight to your nomination. With the individual awards, though, we don't ask for any of that, just the 4 questions. So here we have the selection criteria for individuals. The 4 questions are, tell us about your nominees' volunteering roles, including their key responsibilities and commitment. Describe your nominees' accomplishments and the impact made on their community through their volunteering. What personal strengths or qualities distinguish this volunteer? And why are you nominating this individual for the 2026 Victorian Volunteering Awards? All of them you can write up to a maximum of 250 words, and we ask for a minimum of 80 words because all the people who are reading through the nomination and scoring it, we've never met this person before. So we really want you to use the words to tell us. This is slightly different. These are the selection criteria for the organisations. So again, there are 4 different awards in each category for individuals and also for organisations. So this one is for the organisations. Tell us about the organisation you are nominating and its volunteering program. Describe the impact the volunteer program has had on the cause or community. What distinctive practices, values or initiatives enable the success of volunteer programs in this organisation? Why are you nominating this organisation for the 2026 Victorian Volunteering Awards? So how do we nominate? It's an online nomination process, and that's the address there, www.volunteeringvictoria.org.au/awards. If you can't or don't have a computer or it's a bit tricky, you can always ring us or email us if on a friend's email or however you're going to make that happen, and we can send out a PDF form that you can complete and send in, and then we'll type it into the system. All the questions you might have can be sent to awards@volunteeringvictoria.org.au. And just a general reminder, you can't nominate yourself for an individual category. We've had a few people start that process and then realise they can't nominate themselves, and then maybe get a friend to nominate them or a colleague. You can nominate your organisation though, but we just ask you to put in a different representative. Okay, I just wanted to run through the judging process. So it's a 3-stage judging process. So this means that we do a compliance check on your nomination. So staff in our office will run through your nomination, just checking that you've answered all the questions, you've got all your attachments in place, and that we don't have any follow-up. If we do, we'll email you directly and ask for that to be solved. Then it goes to moderation. There'll be 3 different people reading your nomination and scoring it. Then it goes to our VIP judging selection panel that's really looking at the finalists and the winners. And then any shortlisted nominations will also be asked to undertake a police check. So this is what you're all really excited for, I'm sure. Nomination tips and hints. So I think like the first one is really to have a think about what category fits your nomination the best, whether it's a individual or a group. So have a look at all the different 4 categories under each, and you might even start writing your nomination and then decide, oh, actually this person's really good at leadership. Let's, you might have put them in commitment, but let's actually focus on leadership. You can adjust that category by going back to the first screen. Read the questions carefully. Use the help text to determine what's being asked. And we suggest that you read through all 4 questions before you start answering one, because you might, have a particular line that fits better under different category. Use the full word count to tell us about your nominee. We only know what you're telling us about them, so make sure you use the 250 words if possible. Consider what makes your nominee really special. Be clear and concise, and use specific examples like timeframes of what they actually do. So the frequently answered questions. Nominations are due Wednesday the 27th of May at 4 p.m. Can I nominate myself? No, individuals cannot nominate themselves. Do I have to tell the person or organisation that I'm nominating them? Yes, you do. But you just have to say, oh, I found this great program and I'd really love to nominate you. All the people nominated will actually get an email from us saying congratulations on being nominated for the Victorian Volunteering Awards 2026. Okay, so let's begin some practice. So here we have the actual website for the awards. So if we click on this, it should take us through to the website. That's the front page. So here we have everything about the Victorian Volunteering Awards, a little bit of information about it. Over here we have the awards FAQ and resources. So if you are in the position to be able to advertise the awards to maybe your database or other members or other organisations, please do, or just click on it. So you see here, that's where all the frequently asked questions are put. I'll leave you to have a read through, and we'll just keep adding to that list as your questions come in. There's also a comms pack here. So if you have access even to your own Facebook page or any other sort of publicity, please feel free to put up one of these Instagram tiles or emails out just informing other people about the awards. That would be really great. Okay, so let's get into actually nominating someone this year. So if we click here on the nomination guidelines, and this will take you through all the important information. Here's all of the descriptions about all of the different categories for individuals and the organisation categories. All about how to nominate someone. The 4 questions that we have for individual and organisational categories. And the terms and conditions. So we ask that you read through that prior to beginning your nomination, please. And now let's start a nomination. So this is the main screen of the awards platform that we use. You'll put your own email in here. And also a password. And we're in. So I'm going to come up here to enter. And usually you come up here to start an entry, but I've actually already put a few in and we'll have a look at some of those. So it comes up with my entries, the entry form and the edit entry dialog here. It also tells me how many days left of nominating, so 45 days left. And here we have all the different categories that you need to fill out. So start here, your details, the nominee's details, selection criteria, any attachments you're going to add, and the quick survey. So you can read through. So here I've just decided to do a volunteering organisation. I can click here and it's all of the different categories that belong to volunteering organisations. So inclusive volunteering, volunteering partnerships, volunteering innovation, and grassroots volunteering. We might swap it down to grassroots volunteering. So here it also has a bit of a description of that category. I've just put ourselves in. And this is where we ask for the nominee's consent and that you agree to the terms and conditions. So you tick both of those. In your details, you put in everything about yourself. And you just say, save and next. Then you'd fill out information about the organisation. It's important that you put in the ABN number, the street address, their postcode, so on and so on. So the representative's first name is, so if you're nominating your own organisation, this has to be someone different. So you put in a colleague's first name, last name, and their title in here. And the selection criteria, these are the 4 questions. So you'd fill all those in. Any attachments that you'd like to add? And this one it actually has, please provide evidence that annual turnover is less than $75,000. So this is required by anyone in your organisations that is a financial delegate. They can just put together a quick letter and attach it into here. And there's also somewhere that you can add 3 other documents that lend support to your nomination. And then finally, we have the quick survey, just the ease of completing the nomination, where you heard about the Victorian Volunteering Awards. So this helps us with planning for next year. Have you entered the Victorian Volunteering Awards in previous years? And any other comments you'd like to make. Now, the very important bit is to press submit entry. So until you press the submit entry button, it doesn't actually register with us. So it's very important to make sure once you've completed everything, you press submit entry. And of course we haven't filled in everything. So it's like, whoa, that's not ready yet. Please check the highlighted fields and tabs. So even just going back to say the nominees details, obviously it highlights in red anything that we haven't answered. Okay, now we're going to have a look at another nomination I made for Humphrey B. Bear. So this is the front screen again. My entries, entry form, edit the entry. So I filled in this one fairly completely. So let's just have a quick look. This one, it's an individual volunteer, so not a volunteering organisation, just a volunteer. And I'm thinking Humphrey B. Bear, he was, I'm going to put him down as volunteer impact. I think he's made a huge difference to kids in a hospital. So I've just filled out his name. I've made sure I've got his consent. And I'd say save and next. So this is your details. I've just put in my own name, etc. Save and next. The nominee's details, so I put in his name, Mr. Humphrey Bear. And all the details here. And he's under 18, so I need to put in his parent or guardian's first name here. Save and next. And now we're getting into the nomination details, the 4 questions. So this one's tell us about your nominees' volunteering roles, including their key responsibilities and commitment. And the same for describe your nominees' accomplishments and the impact made on the community through their volunteering. What personal strengths or qualities distinguish this volunteer? And why are you nominating this individual for the 2026 Victorian Volunteering Awards? Save and next. And then again, just a quick survey. And then again, if I press submit entry, we get the same message and you can just see it start here. So all the rest are fully complete because they haven't got that red tab above them. And if I go back to the start here screen, here it is. I haven't actually ticked that I agree to the terms and conditions. So I have to tick that and then I'd be able to submit this particular entry. So there we have it. That's the presentation on the Victorian Volunteering Awards 2026. Please, if you've got any questions, reach out to awards@volunteeringvictoria.org.au. One of us will be more than pleased to take your inquiry And don't forget, we'll keep adding it to the frequently asked questions on our website. Thank you for joining us today, and please feel free to make sure everybody knows about these amazing awards. Thank you very much.